Before we get started, I want to give all thanks, praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. We do so in the name of his son, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Hashem Shai, Hashem Rakaka Dash, Rise of the Chosen, Worcester, Mass. My name is Yakwayam. We'll be doing a Bible study or a Bible reading of Genesis, the 40th chapter. Lord willing, to chapter 5. Shalpar, if you don't mind, Baba Kashar, can we start? Genesis chapter 40.
Yes, I could. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 40, verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. And the Pharaoh was wroth against the two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard, into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, and they continued a season in ward. And they dreamed both of them. Each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream. The butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he asked the Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the words of his Lord's house, saying, Wherefore look ye so sadly today? And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me them, I pray you. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, In my dream, behold, a vine was before me. And in that vine,
Salakia. I just want to make a point that when Joseph said, do not interpretations belong to God, right? So we have to remember that, like, when we have dreams, when we have interpretations, we're not supposed to seek any power other than the Lord to gain the understanding thereof. You understand? So what a lot of people end up doing is they go to tarot cards, they call in on Miss Cleo, and they're doing all kind of things to try to get their dreams interpreted, but they're going the wrong route. I just want to make a point that even Joseph knew that interpretations come from the Lord. You know, if you're in good standing with the Lord is going to give you a discernment. And that's what one of Joseph's gifts was, discernment of dreams. He understood the meaning of dreams. That was a gift from the Most High. All right. And you have to remember that everything that you gain in life, it has to come from the Most High. You have to remember where your power is coming from. A lot of us tend to think that we have power of our own. We do not. Every power that we have is coming from the Most High. All right. So I just wanted to make a point, make that very clear, because I didn't want to just gloss over that, you know. You can continue.
Verse 9. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, In my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within the 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine hand, and restore thee unto thy place, and thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the former manner when thou wast his butler. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and shew kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head, and in the uppermost basket there was of all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days, yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on the tree, and the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday. Wow, I never knew they had the word birthday on it. That he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief butler and the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again. And he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him? Chapter 41.
Okay, let's just do a little recap on this chapter, chapter 40. So what have we learned so far? Joseph is in prison, but he's again, he gets favor from the Lord. You know, the Lord puts him in charge of the prisoners, you know, so he can move about freely inside the prison, you know. So he's like, I don't know what they call it today, but there's there's a guy that prisoners that go around handing them books you see in the movies. They work in the library and stuff like that. Ever seen Shawshank Redemption? When that guy gets to work in the library and do the taxes of all the guards and stuff like that. So Joseph is a favorite prisoner, you know, even though he's in prison. So he interprets the dreams for the baker and the cupbearer for Pharaoh, and one of them got killed, and the other one got restored to his position. And when it's all said and done, I guess he was so happy he forgot about Joseph. All right, let's go to chapter 41.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 1. And it came to pass at the end of the 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up from after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. And the ill-favored and lean-fleshed kine did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kine. So Pharaoh awoke, and he slept and dreamed a second time. And behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 then thin ears and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that this spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in war in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, and I and he, we dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, an Hebrew servant, to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted us our dreams. To each man according to his dream he did interpret. And it came to pass as he interpreted to us, so it was me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh,
you know what just happened there? What did Joseph do? You notice?
He shaved.
Yeah. Where even in his captivity, he had to go against even his Hebrew custom, and he shaved. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something that I noticed that really kind of dawned on me. You know, that Joseph was in his captivity, and when he went before Pharaoh, he shaved. And I've always wondered, you know, was Joseph like the Egyptians? Like, how come his brothers never recognized him? You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't that long. It was only like a couple of years that had gone by. You know, and I get, because you know, you look a lot different without a beard, you know.
Could it be that he didn't shave it all off, but he shaved it real short? Because it only said shave. You could shave the beard, but not all of it. You know what I mean?
But the Egyptian custom was to shave off all your hair.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
That was the Egyptian custom. So I'm going on a limb and saying that that's what he did.
All right.
You know? The Lord was still dealing with him. So that's just something to think about. So you can continue.
Verse 15. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, in my dream, behold, I stood up upon the bank of the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat-fleshed, and well-favored. And they...
Salakia, in verse 16, you see what Joseph said here? Yeah. He said that he won't give Pharaoh an answer, but the Most High will give Pharaoh an answer. All right? So that's why when we on the streets, we got to be very careful to make it known that what we're saying is not us. This is the Lord that's speaking through us to you. You understand?
It's the Lord.
Yes. So we got to be very careful to not speak our own words, but speak God's words. All right?
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that was known. That was pointed out. You can continue.
Verse 17. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, in my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat flesh and well favored, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill favored and lean fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored kind did eat up the first 7 fat kine. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored as at the beginning. So I awoke, and I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 ears withered thin and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. God had showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. God had showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kine are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind should be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, and there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land, and the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will surely bring it to pass. Now, therefore, let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which will be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And
It's lucky a sharp part. Is there any way you could maybe turn up your volume or something? Maybe speak a little bit closer to the phone. I don't know what you're using. Salakia.
How about now?
I'm gonna mute. No, still the same.
Darn it. What's going on?
He sounds pretty good.
Y'all can hear him good?
It's probably yours. Yeah, you probably got your
All right. I'll put my headphones on then. I mean, I can hear you. I just thought it's a little bit low. All right, continue. Everybody else can hear him, right?
Sounds clear.
Okay. All right. Salakia, then it's probably me then. It's probably me.
Verse 38. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. Salaki. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it upon Joseph's hand and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had. And they cried before him, bow the knee. And he made him ruler over all of the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zephnath-paneah, and he gave him to wife Asenath, and daughter of Potipharah, priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. And Joseph was thirsty, 30 years old, when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of the Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in 7 plenteous years, the earth brought forth by handfuls. He gathered up all the food of the 7 years, which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities. The food of the field, which was round about every city, laid he up in the same. And Joseph gathered corn, the sand of the sea, very much until he left numbering, for it was without number. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of his firstborn Manasseh. For God said, he have made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And the name of the second called he Ephraim. For God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. And the
Salakia.
You're looking
Hold
for
on, I'm
that?
just looking for it.
You looking for that, brother?
Yes, it's Genesis chapter 48. Hold where you at and jump over to Genesis chapter 48. Start with verse 1.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 48, verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me.
Who spoke to Israel himself? Verse 3.
Verse 3. And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me. and said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and I will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. This is it right here.
And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine.
What?
Are mine.
Uh-huh.
As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine.
God. And he put them on the same level as his own two sons. We don't need to read anymore. We can jump back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm on Genesis chapter 41, verse 52.
Wait. Read verse 9. Sorry. Read verse 9. That's the nail in the coffin right there too.
Verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
And verse 9. And Joseph said unto his father, they are my sons, whom God hath given me in this place. And he said, bring them, I pray thee.
No, I'm sorry. I'm still at verse 6. I'm sorry, verse 6.
Verse 6. And as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died by me.
That's verse 7.
Oh, verse 6. Salaki.
Yeah.
And thy issue which thou begettest after them shall be thine, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance.
There it is right there. And they're going to be called with the names of their brethren in the inheritance. All right? The inheritance, which is the kingdom of heaven. All right? So when y'all get a chance, go ahead and link Genesis chapter 48, verse 1, all the way down to verse 6 with Genesis, what was we at, 42?
41.
Genesis 41 and verse
52.
52. Yes. Well, 51 and 52.
Yeah.
That's 51 is Manasseh and 52 is Ephraim. All right. So continue with verse 52 and go on down.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 52. And the name of the second he called Ephraim, for God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. And the 7 years of plenteousness that was in the land of Egypt were ended. And the 7 years of dearth began to come, according as Joseph had said. And the dearth was in all lands, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, go unto Joseph. What he saith to you, do. And the famine was over all the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all the countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all land.
Sharpa, you got a chapter in you?
Yeah.
I got it, Doc. Y'all can hear me?
Okay. Let Eliezer read it. Chapter 42.
All right. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 42, starting at verse 1. Now, when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do ye look one upon another? And he said, behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us from hence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob said not with his brethren, for he said, lest peradventure mischief befall him. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, whence come ye? And they said, from the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, they knew not him. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said unto him, nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. We are all one man's son, we are true men, thy servants are no spies. And he said unto them, nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said, thy servants are 12 brethren, the son of one man in the land of Canaan, and behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. And Joseph said unto them, that is it that I spake unto you, saying, ye are spies. Hereby ye shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh, ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely ye are spies. And he put them all together in ward 3 days. And Joseph said unto the 3rd day, this do and live, for I fear God. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye, carry corn for the famine of your houses. But bring your youngest brother unto me. So shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die. And they did so. And they said one to another, we are verily guilty concerning our brother, and that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, spake I not unto you, saying, do not sin against the child, and ye would not hear? Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter. And he turned himself about from them and wept, and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Simeon, and bound him before their eyes. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way. And thus did he unto them. And they laded their asses with the corn, and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender in the inn, he espied for money. Behold, it was in his sack's mouth. And he said unto his brethren, my money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, what is this that God had done unto us? And they came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying, the man who is the Lord of the land spake roughly to us, and took us for spies in the country. Salakia. And took us for spies in the country. And we said unto him, we are true men, we are no spies. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father. One is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the Lord of the country, said unto us, hereby shall I know that ye are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me, and take food for the famine of your households, and be gone. And bring your youngest brother unto me, then shall I know that ye are no spies, that ye are true men. So I will deliver you, your brother, and ye shall traffic in the land. And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob their father said unto them, Me have ye bereaved of my children? Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and ye will take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. And Reuben spake unto his father, saying, Slay my two sons. If I bring him not to thee, deliver them into my hand, and I will bring them to thee again. And he said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in the which ye go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Chapter 43. And the famine was sore in the land. And it came to pass, when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, Go again, buy us a little food. And Judah spake unto him, saying, The man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And if thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And Israel, wherefore dealt ye so ill with me, as to tell the man whether ye had yet a brother? And they said, The man asked us straightly of our state and of our kindred, saying, Is your father yet alive? Have ye another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words. Could we certainly know that he would say, Bring your brother down? And Judah said unto Israel his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and thou, and also our little ones. I will surety for him. Of my hand shalt thou require him. If I bring him not unto thee, and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now we have returned this second time. And their father Israel said unto them, If it must be so, do this. Take the best of the fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm, and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds. And take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, carry it again in your hand. Peradventure, it was an oversight. Take also your brother and arise. Go again unto the man. And Yahweh Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother and Benjamin. And if I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. And the man took that present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up, and went down to Egypt, and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, Bring these men home, and slay, and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph bade, and the man brought the man into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's house, and they said, Because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us, and fall upon us, and take us for bondmen and our asses. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, O sir, we came indeed at the first time to buy food, and it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand. And other money have we brought down in our hands to buy food. We could not tell who put our money in our sacks. And he said, Peace be to you, fear not. Your God and the God of your father hath given you treasure in your sacks, and I had your money. And he brought Simeon out to them. And the man brought the man into Joseph's house and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their asses provender. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And he asked them of their welfare, and said, Is your father well? The old man of whom you speak, is he yet alive? And they answered, Thy servant, our father, is in good health. He is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his younger brother, his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother, of whom ye spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother. And he sought where to weep, and he entered into his chamber and wept there. And he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, Set on bread. And they set on him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews.
Salakia, you hear that part right there? The Egyptians never ate with the Hebrews. All right, that's a point that I wanted to make clear too. We were literally slaves to them. You understand? And they didn't sit with the help, basically. You know. But I wanted to point out also too how happy Joseph was when he seen his brother, that he couldn't contain himself. He cried, he wept. You know what I'm saying? He wept on more than one occasion when he saw his brothers. So even after what they did to him, he was still happy to see them. You know what I'm saying? That's the power of forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? That Joseph had. You know? So we could all do good with that lesson and try to learn from that, you know? It's hard. Trust me, I know it's hard. But you know, with the power of the Lord, anything is possible, right? You know, just gotta ask him for grace and mercy when we fall short, you know. Let's continue.
And they set on him by himself and for by themselves. We're back at Genesis 43 and verse 33. I'm sorry. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the man marveled one at another. And he took and sent messes unto them from before him. But Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs. And they drank and were merry with him.
Hey, Yakuya. No, in verse 32, it tells you that eating with the Hebrews was an abomination to the Egyptians, yo.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna go to the online Bible app so I could do a follow along. We're chapter 43. What verse are we at?
We're at chapter 44 now.
Oh, Salakia. All right, let's go.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 44, verse 1. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their asses. And when they were gone out of the city and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, Up, follow after the men. And when thou dost overtake them, say unto them, Wherefore had ye rewarded evil for good? Is not this it in which my Lord drinketh, and whereby indeed he divineth? Ye have done evil in so doing. And he overtook them And he spake unto them these same words. And they said unto him, Wherefore saith my Lord these words? God forbid that thy servants should do according to this thing. Behold, the money which was found in our sacks, mouths, we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of the Lord's house silver and gold? With whomsoever of thy servants.
Salakia. Because think about how much wealth Egypt accumulated in them in those 7 years. You know what I'm saying? Because they were the only ones that were prepared for this famine. Egypt had amassed an incredible fortune. Continue.
Verse 9. With whomsoever of thy servants it be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. And he said, Now also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless. Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. And he searched and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they rent their clothes, and laded every man his ass, and returned to the city. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, What deed is this that ye have done? What ye not that such a man as I can certainly divine? And Judah said, What shall we say unto the Lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? God hath found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and he also with whom the cup is found. And he said, God forbid that I should do so, but the man is whose hand the cup is found. He shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father. Then Judah came near unto him and said, O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ears, and let not thine anger burn against thy servant, for thou art even as Pharaoh. My Lord asked his servants, saying, Had ye a father or a brother? And we said unto my Lord, We have a father and an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him.
Salakia. So this is an important point, that Benjamin and Joseph had the same mother. Who was their mother? Anybody knows? There was the two sisters, Leah and what's the other sister's name? Rachel. Those are Rachel's only two children. And she had a daughter, of course, Dinah. But those are the only two sons that she was ever able to give birth to. And that's why Benjamin was so significant to Joseph. You understand? And you know how much Jacob loved Rachel. And Rachel was now gone. Rachel was dead now. So that's the only remembrance that he had of their mother, them two sons. And he was under the assumption that Joseph was dead. They all thought Joseph was dead. You know what I'm saying? So Benjamin was like the last thing that he could remember, that they could use, that the last memory of their mother, you know? So you can continue.
Verse 20. And we said unto my Lord, we have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. And thou saidest unto thy servants, bring him down unto me, that I may set mine eyes upon him. And we said unto my Lord, the lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. And thou saidest unto thy servants, except your youngest brother come down with you, ye shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came up unto my servant my father, we told him the words of my Lord. And our father said, go again and buy us a little food. And we said, we cannot go down. If our youngest brother be with us, then will we go down, for we may not see the man's face, except our youngest brother be with us. And thy servant my father said unto us, ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons, and the one went out from me, and I said, surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. And if ye take this also from me, the mischief befall him, ye shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Now, therefore, when I come to the servant my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, it shall come to pass, when he seeth the lad is not with us, that he will die. And thy servants shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant our father with sorrow to the grave. For thy servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, if I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad a bondman to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me, lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father.
So Judah offered to take Benjamin's place. You can go ahead and make a note of that, okay? That's not something that's actually even in this, like, you ever really hear in that story. There's a lot of little fine little details that, you know, like he begged for his it's like he knew, hey, if Benjamin doesn't come back with us, our father's gonna die from sorrow. You know what I'm saying? And Judah just, he couldn't bear that. He couldn't bear to be the bearer of bad news a second time. You understand? Where we at? Next chapter?
45, yeah.
Last chapter. Eliezer? Salaka.
Khan. All right, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 45. I'm starting at verse 1. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried, because every man to go out from me, and there stood no man with him. While Joseph made himself known unto his brethren, and he wept aloud, and the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither. For God did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years hath the famine been in the land.
Salakia. Let's not just go right past that. I want you to put a highlight over verse 5. Read verse 5 one more time.
Verse 5. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither. For God did send me before you to preserve life.
Y'all hear that? God sent Joseph. Like, that was all part of the Most High's plan. Because when we think that we going through struggles and persecutions and tribulations, always remember it's a part of the Lord's plan. You know what I'm saying? There's a precept that goes something like this. We know that everything works according to the will of the Lord. Everything works out according to the will of the Lord. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the preeminence right there of that. You know, somebody have a say something in the chat. For that scripture. Gone. You know, that's a beautiful scripture right there, man. You can continue.
All right. Verse 6. For these 2 years had the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
In the which there shall be neither be earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve your posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but of God. And he hath made me a father to Pharaoh, and the Lord of all his house, and a ruler through all the land in Egypt. Haste ye and go up to my father, and say unto him, Thus saith thy son Joseph, God hath made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not, and thou shalt not dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks and thy herds, and all that thou hast. And there I will nourish thee. For yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household and all thou hast come to poverty. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaketh unto you. And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste and bring down my father hither. And he fell upon his brother's Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. And moreover, he kissed all his brethren and wept upon them. And after that, his brethren talked with him. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come. And it pleased Pharaoh well, and his servants. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Say unto thy brethren, This do ye, lay your beast, and go, get you unto the land of Canaan. And take your father and your households, and come unto me, and I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat of the fat of the land. Now thou art commanded, this do ye. That now thou art commanded, this do ye. Take your weapons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. Also regard not your stuff, for the good of all the land of Egypt is yours. And the children of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. To all of them he gave each man changes of raiment. But to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of raiment. And to his father he sent after this manner: 10 asses laden with the good things of Egypt, and 10 she-asses laden with corn and bread and meat for his father by the way. So he sent his brethren away, and they departed. And he said unto them, see that ye fall not out by the way. And they went up out of Egypt and came into the land of Canaan unto Jacob their father, and told them, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not. And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And Israel, it is enough. Joseph, my son, is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die.
I want to bring forward two precepts before we end this lesson. And I just want to go over chapter 45 just a little bit, okay? Let me get the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose.
That's right. And Joseph was called according to the purpose of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? You might think that your brothers did evil to you or whatever. That was all according to the Lord's plan. You know what I'm saying? You traveling all over the world, getting all this life experience. Whether you be an alcoholic, a crackhead, or whatever, if the Lord brought you out of that, he put you in that for a reason, for the experience that you're going to gain. Joseph gained a ton of experience. You know what I'm saying? He learned about, being wary of women. He learned about how to work in higher society. And because he was in such a position, Israel was able to preserve all the whole nation of Israel, all the tribes. God? All right, let me get Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 7.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 7. Let me know when everyone's there. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with them.
That's right. When a man's way pleases the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Right? You got to remember that the Egyptians, they were not our friends at that time. They were our enemies, But because Joseph was righteous and he never forsook the Lord, you know what I'm saying? He ended up in a position of power. And not only did he end up in a position of power, because that's what happens to a lot of our people today. They end up in positions of power, but they forget about their people. Joseph never forgot about his people. You know what I'm saying? Even with that great success that he had, he never forgot his people. And if one lesson that I want us to remember and take away from this Bible reading is that we are never to forget about our people, because whatever blessing we get is for the uplifting and the betterment of the Lord's people. All right. So with that being said, that's our Bible reading, Genesis chapter 40 to chapter 45. I had a wonderful time fellowship with you, brothers. I want to say Shabbat Shalom and good night. Shalom.
Shalom.